Welcome back to the Diaspora channel. I'm Kaiga Biam and happy Wednesday. I hope you guys are all well and thanks so much for tuning in tonight. Good morning, good afternoon, or good depending on where you are joining the show from. I showcase Black-owned businesses on this platform. I interview also brothers and sisters that have moved to Africa so they can share their experiences with us. So if you are an entrepreneur out there and you love to join me here as well to share your products or services with us, kindly email me at diasporachannel@gmail.com. And if you're not following me on Instagram, please do follow me on Instagram so you can also send me a DM right there and I will be able to have you here with me so you can share what you are doing with others. That's very, very important. I'm sure you agree with me that our businesses matter. So wherever you are, keep patronizing Black-owned businesses globally. Yeah, that is what we need to be doing to make sure we're keeping our money right within the Black community. So tonight I have another interesting guest as usual, guys. I'm sure you are very, very used to this platform by now. It's all about, celebrating our own, of course. So tonight, our very, very special guest is Rashad McCrorey. He was on the platform few months back to share how he moved from the US to Ghana. But tonight, there are some amazing news to, that he going to share with us. So I'm sure you want to know, how the whole things happen, because for those of you that don't know Rashad is the CEO and founder of African Cross Culture. African Cross Culture is a tourism company, so they specializes in organizing trips across Africa, and Rashad managed to bring over 300 people on the continent. So that is right there something that we need to actually applaud and explain for me personally the reason why he has been installed as tourism chief in the central region in Ghana. So he's here tonight to share more about that and what are the different projects he's working on currently, to support or help the community right there. So if you are new here, kindly subscribe and make sure your notification bell is on so you don't miss out on my new videos. So guys, you know how we do it here. I truly appreciate all of you that support me on a monthly basis, and keep doing that. If you are not supporting me as a member, you can still support me by sharing my content. That is also very, very important. So many people can know about brothers and sisters that are doing various things in different fields and actually supports them. So that is one of the aim of the platform. So, bonjour, bonsoir. J'espère que vous allez super, super bien et que votre semaine se passe très bien. Chez moi, ça va quand même, bien, ça va. Donc, ça, c'est toujours un grand plaisir d'être ici et faire des interviews avec nos frères et sœurs afin qu'ils partagent ce qu'ils font avec nous. Et certains d'entre eux sont des entrepreneurs, donc ils partagent leurs produits et services avec nous. Donc, si vous êtes entrepreneur aussi et vous voulez me joindre ici, live, vous partagez vos produits ou services, envoyez-moi un mail sur thediasporachannel@gmail.com. Et ce soir, notre invité, ce soir, nous recevons Rashad Maccrory. Rashad est un entrepreneur et il est journaliste aussi. Et il est le fondateur de African Cross Culture. Donc, ils organisent en fait, qui est une agence de tourisme. Donc, ils organisent les voyages, les excursions sur le continent. Et là, il a quand même essayé de travailler, ou bien je vais dire même emmener, oui, je peux dire ça, plus de 300 personnes en Afrique. Donc, récemment, il a été nommé chef du tourisme au Ghana. Donc, il est là ce soir pour partager comment tout s'est passé. Et si vous voulez en savoir un peu plus, je vais tout résumer vers la fin. Comme ça, vous saurez en plus sur lui et les différents projets qu'il a en ce moment. Donc, c'est en fait dans la région, il est chef de tourisme, du tourisme dans la région centrale du Ghana. Donc là, il va nous en parler il nous parlera de tout ça et puis partager les projets avec nous. Donc, si vous voulez aussi vous connecter avec lui, vous voulez en savoir plus, restez jusqu'à la fin ou vers la fin, définitivement, je vais partager seulement les points clés de notre entretien ce soir. Et le live est sponsorisé par Maison Moka. On vend les pagnes aussi que les accessoires et les vêtements. Donc, vous pouvez le voir. J'aime très, très, très bien mes boucles d'oreilles. Comme vous pouvez le voir, c'est très, très léger. Donc, c'est tellement léger. Donc, vous pouvez aussi faire vos commandes sur www.maisonmoka.co.ua. Et là, je vais l'ajouter. Hi, Rashad.
Hey, how are you? You know, you speak in French, so I had no idea you were about to transition into me. How are you?
I'm doing great, Rashad. Thanks so much
Okay.
for joining me tonight, and I would say welcome back.
I'm glad to be back on your show. Continue to do a wonderful job.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So tonight, we're going to hear more about, the whole change. I would say is a great upgrade because last time when you were here a few months ago, it was more about, you moving from the States to Ghana and, more also about your business because for those of you that don't know, Rashad is the owner of African Cross Culture. So they organize trip across Africa. But tonight, he's going to tell us how, from that one title that some of us are very used to, how he became a tourism chief in the central region, right, of Ghana. So Rashad, please go ahead and tell the viewers a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, everybody. My name is Rashad McCrorey. I'm the owner of Africa Cross Culture, where we organize trips to the African countries of Egypt, Ghana, Kenya, Nigeria, Rwanda, Uganda. I've been serving the community for 6 years now. I began my business in 2016. Actually, I have a question that I ask clients from time to time. I share with them that I came up with the idea of my tourism company in 2015. I started working on my tourism company, promoting, building a website network in 2016. And I hosted my first trip in 2017. So I asked them in their mind, when did my business start? It's just been a wonderful experience. Just hosting people, helping people realize their dreams, especially first-time travelers to the continent. And this is just another step on the ride. When I last spoke to you all on this channel, I was still living in Ghana, which I do now. Right now, I'm in the United States. I'm in my New York City apartment. But I was still transitioning from being in Ghana during the coronavirus pandemic. And instead of returning to the United States, I had decided to stay in Ghana. And when I finally started to realize that it was time for me to go back to the United States, not to move back to the United States per se. However, I was unexpectedly out of the country for 2 years. I still have my apartment. If you go back to make sure you go back to the last live that I did with the Diaspora channel. It was real interesting. You get to hear more of my story. But when I finally realized that it was time for me to go back to the States to take care of paperwork, missing friends and family, my mom, and other things, I informed the village. I said, hey, for the first time, I'm actually going to have to go back home and take care of paperwork. Cards are expiring. I just need to, actually go home and, just set some things up. Plus, I've been traveling since 2015, 7 years. And I've been traveling every 2-3 months, sometimes back to back. I haven't been in one country so long for such a extended period of time. I was ready to, get out of Ghana for some time. And the way that the way that I presented it to the village was that I was going back to the United States, but I was coming back. Maybe about 3 or 4 days later, the village elders came back to me and they said, you've been with us for such a long time, and you really joined us, and you really became one of us. We want to send you away with a parting gift. We want to, make you one of our chiefs.
Wow.
And at first, I was a little hesitant about it because, like, how do I say it? Oh, this shout out to Killer Mike. I'm actually collaborating with him on a different project, actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, I would love to hear more about that project too.
I just happen to see that. I'm getting old, so I had to squint my eyes, but I just happen to see that. I get that a lot, that me and him look alike, and we actually know each other, so it's actually funny. But they came back to me and said, we want to make you one of our chiefs. And at first I was real hesitant because that's a huge responsibility.
It is.
And you're really responsible. It's not a it's a selfless position. And for somebody who's free like me to be a chief, from my understanding, is like a craft. It's something that you craft, but at the same time, you're subject to the community. You made a joke behind in backstage that said, "Should we call you Your Highness?" You think chief, you think king, you think people like we think coming to America or King Arthur, and anything, and people just serving you, waiting on you hand and foot. But really,
Rashad,
yeah,
we all have to be very careful how we carry ourselves around you now, because now there is a big upgrade. So that's why I asked that question. Are you do we refer to you now as your highness, or is it Nana, or what is it?
yeah. The title in Ghana would be Nana. Nana is something that you call an elder, a leader. In this case, I will be referred to as Nana because I'm a chief. But you would call it like an elder, maybe even your boss sometimes, or somebody who is in a position of leadership, usually somebody, a little older, or a significant position of leadership. So in Ghana, my title would be Nana. My official title is Nana Kofi Kokojufo Emezikan Inshra. Inshra is the Fanti word for tourism chief. I want to go look and see. That's the direct translation. And then go back to the story, because it's serious, because a lot of people come to me even before this was like, oh, I want to be a chief. I want to be a chief. And you don't always know what's inside somebody's heart, but most people want to be a chief for ego reasons. One of the whole reasons I wanted to do it for the ego reasons and the luxuries and the things that you hear. But when you really sit down and think about it, it is a position where you don't work for yourself anymore. That's what I was going into. It's not like you're used to being you're going to be waited on hand and foot. You're actually at the beck and call of the community in a way, where you have to craft your chieftaincy to set boundaries. And it's your job to serve the community. Yes, there's benefits to it, but even in the short time that I've been chief so far, even as I've traveled, I have to be more responsive. I have to keep in mind, like, hey, I have responsibility to other people now, because I sworn an oath to the people. Not just the paramount king, but also to the community, to the village, the town. And it's something that I hold for the rest of my life. I'm in New York City. I'm from Manhattan, Harlem, so you might hear some sirens in the background. So if you hear anything like that on occasion, that's just the New York City. It's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so good. So good, like you highlighted the fact that it's a big responsibility.
Yeah.
Some people think like, okay, just let me get that title and then misuse it, just because now people know me as a chief. So I can, benefit from this and that. And you know what, I really applaud, you know, the whole community for is the fact that, you know, in the past we you know, there were few videos out there, and they happen in Ghana where it's no people that look like us, and they were made chiefs. So we're like, okay, what you know, what's going on? Are these our people aware of you know, what is going on even outside the continent? And so they have to tread carefully when it comes to people they are giving more power to. So I really applaud them for recognizing you for first your work and your connection with you know, that specific village, because it's not something that just happened, you know, out of a blue. But first you have let's say like a family that, you know, with what I know, you know, you attended like different activities, events, you know, you doing your contribution. So you just literally like one of them. So it's not just like somebody that just show up, you know, like show up few days, manage to do this and that to help the community, and then bam, here we go, that's your title. And apparently it's the very first tourism chief, right, we have in Ghana.
Somebody's done their homework very thoroughly. Yeah. I'm teasing. Yeah.
So yeah, that is very important for anyone listening right now and just thinking, oh, let me just manage and do everything I can do just to get this title. It's not about showing off. It's not about, you know, misusing, you know, that position, but it's about what you can also do for that community. So before we touch more on that, I really want you to explain to people how you come across the family first that you were connected to, because I always say on this platform, like, if you're planning to relocate to Africa, don't just make it something that because it's trending, you just book for a flight, you grab few things, you know, you manage to get maybe $2,000 or $5,000 or pounds or whatever the currency is, and just show up in Togo, show up in Ghana, show up in Ivory Coast. It shouldn't be like that. You really have to make sure you are connected, you know, with the right people on the ground, and build that connection properly, you know, build the trust and everything in place before making that move. So I would love you to share a little bit more about, you know, your Ghanaian family aspect of things, and how that actually help you, you know, to be where you are now with you being installed as a chief.
Yes. Actually, this on 4th of July, I'll be releasing my second book, the 10 Repatriation Commandments, tips for African members and members of the diaspora to visiting and moving to Africa, the 10 Repatriation Commandments. And it's a book that's based around preparing your mind, your spirit, and helping people transition to the African continent properly. There's a lot of pitfalls and traps and misconceptions that lead people astray. And going into the question that you're asking, one of the things that I encourage people to do before they actually move is to see everything for themselves first. Whether it's taking multiple trips, maybe your first trip might just be to tourism. Maybe your second trip may be just to visit different regions, different places to know exactly where you want to live. Because even when it comes to knowing people on the ground, you don't necessarily know those people on the ground ahead of time. You don't know what they're actually doing, what they're doing with your money, or if they're people that you want to live around long term. So there's so many components in my new book, the 10 Repatriation Commandments, that talk about the different traps and pit holes that some may fall into, that I think it's a book that's not a happy-go-lucky book that just makes everything sound like peaches and cream, you know, and rainbows and unicorns. It's a book that takes a serious look at helping people transition, and the mindset starts way before you make your first initial trip, or way before you move. And the way that I met the family that that eventually made me chief was that, for me, man, I didn't meet them until like my 20th, 30th trip. You don't have to be that extreme like me, but I'm a tour operator. I own Africa Cross Culture. And I was on a tour at Elmina Slave Dungeon with a group. And one of the tour guys, Alex, was working there, and he just seemed like a good guy. I like the tour. I like his mindset. And usually I'm in a situation where people want to meet me. Sometimes I got to fight people off literally. Even those who visited other countries before, all tourists are assumed to be rich and wealthy. You got to fight people off. But this was one of the first times that I was like, hey, I want to know this person. This person seemed to have good character. The person, first impression was somebody like, oh, I want to know this person. So I remember I collected his number, and we began chatting over the phone on occasion. And as we chatted more, I saw that we were like-minded. When I decided to stay in Ghana during the pandemic, he was one of the people that I called to say, I think I'm going to stay in the pandemic, and we talked over some of the pros and the cons. And it was really, how do I say it? It was really a productive conversation. So maybe about 3 months into my stay in Ghana, he said, hey, why don't you come back up to Elmina, spend like a week or two in Elmina. And I agreed to do so. So a few weeks later, I went out to Elmina, set me up in a wonderful hotel, One Africa Health Resort. If you're ever in Elmina, if you're ever in the central region of Ghana, visiting the slave dungeons, I recommend One Africa Health Resort. Very, 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 very good people. More of a mom and pop type hotel, health resort type space. It's not a 4 or 5 star hotel. However, it's a real beautiful place by the water. I stayed at One Africa for about 2 weeks. I really liked the area a lot. Then I wound up staying at One Africa for 2 months. And then eventually I found my own place in the Elmina area. And that's where I spent the last, almost 2 years of my stay. So that's how I met my tribe, my family, my people. The guy was a tour guide, older, mature, high character individual. Wasn't somebody young and hustling on the move, still making young person mistakes. This was a seasoned person, married, children, key pillar in his family. It's not enough to say I know somebody. It's not enough to say, oh, this person has a lot of YouTube subscribers, or these people, they talk well and they present documents and things of that nature. A lot of times as Black Americans, and I'm sure other members of the diaspora, we put our street smarts behind, and we kind of get caught up with the, oh, welcome home, brother and sister, welcome home, I want to help you. I know somebody. I talk about that in my book. Everybody knows somebody. And we have to, do a better job in using our discernment and our discretion, at least to when it comes to seeing who has character. Not because not everybody's perfect. People make mistakes. But then you got to make sure people are not just making mistakes, and some situations are unfortunate, or if it's people right out there, like really, on having people for prey. And part of my role as tourism chief, I spoke about this a lot in the media. People think that when it comes to security and protection, you have to protect people from the villages and the tourists from being harmed. We also have to protect, I'm straying off a little bit, but we also have to protect.
No, that's fine. That's fine, Rashad, because that is actually my next question. What are the roles, like as a tourism chief? What are the roles and responsibilities? So feel free to go in right, straight. That's fine.
Not only, okay, I'll go straight into that. Not only do we have, not only is part of the presentation or the job description. I hate that. I hate job. Oh, by the way, I've worked for myself. I've been an investor for like, almost 10 years now. Almost 10 years. About protecting people from the tourists, from the location. Oh, make sure my people don't get robbed. Make sure they don't get hurt. any some form of way. But we also have to protect the villages and the communities and the countries from
Yeah.
the tourists,
Yes.
from, think colonization, think imperialism, think, sex trafficking, think,
Mm-hmm.
exploitation, think people who come and travel. All Americans aren't nice. It's people who will come down with a condescending attitude and come down with a bad attitude and being volatile.
And
So
we
maybe
don't need
some,
that.
yeah,
We don't need that right there. We
yeah,
don't.
maybe sometimes you got to protect the country from the people.
Yeah.
Country from the people visiting, coming down here acting a fool, as we say. You know, so people think tourism is, now I'm going into my job description. Um,
Mm.
uh, people think that it's just taking people from one place to another. Like, hey, I'm going to show you this tourist attraction, that tourist attraction. Let's go eat some food. Let's go have nightlife. Meet some men. Meet some women. Ta-da! That's it. Tourism is planning. It's budgeting. It's infrastructure. It's
Mm.
logistics. It's networking. As I just mentioned, it's security. There's so many different components into tourism that, in a way, I'm not only a tourism chief, I am
Mm.
like an acting, head of state in a way.
Right.
Leader ultimately, because if I'm bringing in such and such amount of money and I
Mm.
get to say where that money goes, and I get to say what programs the community invests in. We
Mm.
have a scholarship program that we've developed for the community, and now that I'm back in the States, I'm working on a nonprofit organization. And with that, we're helping young women and young men get into vocational training apprenticeship programs.
Okay.
They asked me to keep it to the traditional Ghanaian apprenticeship program. So for women, it's fashion, um, fashion, home
Mm.
economics, and beautician. For
Okay.
the guys, and also business owner, I was able to get a form of business owning it. Um, and for the guys, it's electrician, carpentry, and lumber.
Okay.
500 American dollars will put somebody in a full 3-year apprenticeship program, including all the resources and materials that they need.
Mm.
Um, these are things that's been started by me. Other partners and other people who work with the community. I
Mm.
was just informed that some people that the village, from their own to the name ceremony for, contributed a air conditioner for the palace. Another tourism company is now looking into building a school for the community. And when you start to
And
be,
sorry, Rashad, all
yeah,
this is happening in, is it Atria and
Each Elmina. Elmina
Itri
is,
Elmina?
yeah, Elmina is the town. Elmina historically, people say Elmina is the first European settlement in all of West Africa. For Americans who are listening, Christopher Columbus set up a port in Elmina. Just the historical significance of the location of Elmina. So the
Right.
village of Ytre is a
Mm.
is part of Elmina. It's actually the entry of Elmina. It's the first town in Elmina. The strategic location of Ytre is where the three waters meet: the Atlantic Ocean, the Gulf of Guinea, and Sweet River.
Mm.
Um, I've been adopted by the Itrahen, not only Itrahen, I'm sorry, Omahen of Elmina, and I'm also acting as chief of tourism in Elmina, even though I was initially installed via Itre. So
Okay.
I swore myself into Elmina as tourism chief also, in Sharjah. And just being in that strategic location, it makes me feel like this is a divine, order. This is something that's not
Mm.
somebody who just stumbled in, and respectfully to anyone else. My stool is not a ceremonial stool. That's another thing that the community in Elmina also wanted to bestow upon me. I didn't build a school first. I didn't do anything first. Um, and they returning a favor to me. Whereas if 5 years from now, 10 years from now, if I'm inactive, they could just distool me. Or
Right.
somebody with more money come around, they could say, "Hey, I'm going to do more," and they're going to de-stool him and install me. My stool is permanent. I pass this stool down to my children and my children's children,
Oh, wow.
which is a blessing.
That
That's
is
why,
a big deal.
That's why the ceremony was so grand. That's why there was a Durbar. That's why you saw the swearing
Can you
in. That's
tell us
why.
a little bit about your ceremony? Because I never even witnessed like any installment. So I would love to know a little bit more about that. And I'm sure like viewers as well will appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah, when people think of installment, normally they think of just a 1 day event. Were you able to watch any of the videos? I have them all over my YouTube page.
You
Uh,
just some small clips. So
yeah.
but
So,
I'm still gonna put the the link of your channel so people can actually
oh, that'll be great.
watch
That'll be
that.
great.
Yeah.
You know, Two Black, Two Strong, 123. YouTube.com. Two Black, Two Strong, 123. TO Black, TO Strong, 123. And but people think that it's just one. How do I say it? One day you're not king. They do the ceremony. You're king. The installment process starts, weeks and months before the actual ceremony. They start with something. Officially, it starts with something called a snatching, which is a ceremonial procedure where the village actually kidnaps you. In the older times, they used to actually surprise somebody and snatch them unaware. This time they told me, be prepared that at any given time somebody can just like grab you up, and I thought they was going to grab me up and throw me in a car or something like that. But it was actually maybe like 50 to 100 people with drums and guns, shooting the guns in the air and drums, and they covered me with powder and all kinds of stuff that I never experienced before. But also, when you start having consultations and they telling you the role of chief, and then you start learning songs and things to commune with the family even more. They put me in a home, and I couldn't leave the home for 3 days. Traditionally, it's supposed to be 7 days, but for me, they did 3 days. And then different people will come see you, come meet you. You have 30-minute, 1 hour consultations, and they're telling you about your roles. They're telling you about some of the benefits, it's a lot. It's a lot. Then finally, the day of, you do the swearing in. Part of the consultations on the days leading up to the swearing, you have to learn. Me being Black American, not speaking the Fanti language, I had to learn about a paragraph and Fanti to repeat 3 times as part of my swearing. I did okay ultimately. I did all right.
Oh well, I'm still going to ask you to repeat those.
I had to
What you
study
said,
about
yeah.
2 months.
We're going to have our own
Yeah,
ceremony right here. So
yeah.
you need
Who was
you
it?
need to remember.
Yeah. Amen. Nana Kofi Koko Jufo and Mezikan.
Mhm.
Amo Itre. No, I can't remember right now. I remember in English. Maybe if I took my time. Yeah. I'm Nana Kofi Koko Jufo in Strasbourg of Amo Itre. I so solemnly swear to pledge my allegiance to Nana Itre Kweku Otodo Emu. Um, Whenever he calls me morning, noon, and night, unless I'm sick, I will come. I will come to the aid of him in the community. I give my word. That's in English, but I had to learn it in Fanti, and I had to repeat it in Fanti, 3 times. So that was an experience. Hey, like if it was English, I'd been able to say, it, you know. Um, but I did good. I did good. I did well. I'm proud of myself. Um, it was just an amazing experience, did the different sacrifices because, again, I say this with pride, just talk about my individual experience. If there's any Ghanaians out there who really know, Ghanaian tradition and culture, I have my installment ceremony. I have news articles, and I also have just like personal videos and cameras. My installment ceremony was a real installment ceremony. It wasn't a real ceremony. It wasn't a, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say ceremony. It wasn't a, I'm trying to think of the word. Um, Ceremonial ceremony, I guess. Help me out right here. Help me out right here. It wasn't just like, okay, we're gonna make him Mpuntu him. We're not gonna make him developmental chief. I forgot what they call developmental chiefs. I forgot the name of that one. it wasn't a ceremonial chieftaincy. It's a real chieftaincy. I don't want to disrespect nobody. You know, I'm really a chief.
But I'm sure they get
My name is already being in the process of being gazetted in the House of Chiefs and Accra. Like, they really did something really special for me, and I'm proud of that. You know, if you know Elmina, I'm part of the Edna Traditional Council. Have I been able to really experience that yet? No, not yet. But again, chieftaincy is for life. There will be a time when I'll regularly be at those meetings. There'll be a time in the near future where you can actually find my name in the National House of Chiefs in Accra. And that's important, and that's big, you know. And I really plan on, you know, I've already started, but I really plan on taking this as a lifelong mission, and doing well. And like you said earlier, like, not only do people hold you in different standards, I'm adding that I have to hold myself in different standards. It's already been things like, I've had like plastic bags in my hand. It was like, no, you can't have plastic bags in your hand. And I'm like, all right. And I'm telling my other guy, your friend, laughing. I was like, yeah, I had a plastic bag. And he was like, you got a plastic bag. You can't have a plastic. You're a chief now. You got to have like a nice bag. Just little things like that. Like, no, you can't eat at a table with people. And, you know, they start telling me like the little tradition, not little, but they start telling me the tradition. And these are things that I have to know. And since I took the oath and I'm taking it seriously, these are things that over the years I have to respect, because I'm going to be held in a different light. They're like, who's this foreigner? To some people, I'm still just Black American coming, and it's not everybody likes it. Let alone other jealous Americans or other diasporans. Sometimes there's Ghanaians who say what you said earlier. How come all these other people are having our traditional titles and privileges? And even though I have the same skin, I'm no different from a Europe. They look at me as no different from a European or an Asian who's been in school, as much as I feel like this is my rightful place.
It is.
You know, so I do look at myself as a torchbearer for leading the way for other people. If I embarrass people, if I don't hold a good job, there's going to be other people who may be in candidacy in the future who may just get a ceremonial stool. And that's what I meant to say. I think ceremonial, but just a ceremonial stool, and not an authentic, some people say Black stool, not an authentic stool that go through all the proper rituals. And it get held to that high level.
With the scholarship program, how can people help you? Because, you know, that is another great thing to do. Like, we know that, you know, the young people are the future, right? So we have to make sure, like, you know, we guide them. Those out there that have different skills, you know, they need mentors. So all these things is, you know, it's good to have great projects and have people that will be dedicated, you know, to all those projects, but they will need funds as well. So at the same time, if you are a lover of Africa, you really want things to change on the continent, you are not there, but like I love saying this over and over here, there is, you know, a brother or a sister out there trying to help, you know, that community. Is our call, is our responsibility, you know, to put whatever we can put to support that noble cause. So tell people how they can support that program.
As of right now, we're taking donations via PayPal and Cash App for those in the United States. I've already started the paperwork, and I've already started working on the nonprofit 501c3, especially now that I'm back in the United States. The lawyers are still waiting on me for the bylines, for the bylaws, excuse me, the bylaws of the 501c3. However, for now, we're taking donations via Cash App and PayPal. And the way you can get my information is go to our website, Africa Cross Culture, and send me an email. Go to, you know, contact us, send me an email, and I'll guide you through all the steps properly. I'll let you, if you have a specific, if you want them to go to young men, if you want them to go to young women, if you want them to go to generally, and you'll be sending everything through me. And then I already have an NGO in Ghana, the Rashad McCrorey Foundation, It'll go through the Rashad McCrorey Foundation, and then you'll be able to really track and know where your donation has gone. Because with us, transparency is really important. I'm a very transparent person, even to the point where it comes to bite me in the back sometimes. It's like, I wish I could have just kept these things to myself, instead of explaining everything to everyone. But I really feel like transparency is important. So as of right now, the official nonprofit is being built, but you will go to Africa Cross Culture. You will go to contact us. You will, say how much you want to donate and what you want to donate for. What do you want it to go towards? I will receive that email, and then you'll be communicating with me directly. It will be either through PayPal, Cash App, and depending on where you are, then we'll find other ways for you to contribute.
That's good. So later I will put all the links in the chat, so in the description box. So
Your sound is staticky.
Oh, is it? Is it better now? No? Oh, I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see.
Yeah. So chieftaincy is a lifelong. I've taken a lifelong oath. Sometimes when you say when you agree to do something, we have to understand what we're saying. And now that I'm partaking into it, I have to always think, what is the ramification on the village, on myself, my reputation? All these things are always taken into account. So even me now, I have to hold myself to a higher level of excellency, right? But a higher standard, and so sometimes it's restrictive, but it's also expansive. Yeah.
And it's good that you guys can actually track what your money is doing, when you donate to the cause. So
try to do a sound check. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, but can you guys hear me in the chat?
Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can hear you clearly, but can you hear me?
Yeah, it's really bad. I couldn't even in good faith let you. If I hear what I hear,
yeah,
if anybody else is out there hearing that, I couldn't let you go forward in good faith. We could try. If you think it's just me,
well, okay. So what will happen, Rashad? I'm gonna just send you a note in the private chat, but I'm sure that the guys heard everything I wanted you to share with them. So hopefully, they will be hearing all this I'm saying, and any information anyway, guys, will be in the chat, so you can actually support Rashad. But another thing I want to add right now, due to the sounds, I don't know, how things are going on your side. So we're going to round up. So
it sound like maybe it was just the way I hear you.
you think it's only your end?
And it just cleared up now. It might have just only been my end, so I apologize. Yeah.
On your end, okay, all right, that's fine. No
and
problem.
I hear you clearly now. Okay.
Okay, brilliant. That's great. So back to what I was saying. All the links will be in the description box, and we really need to do some work, because the talking, I say that all the time. We've been doing the talking for the longest time. So anything you can contribute, is it $5, 10, just do your part, and it's good that people can actually.
With Ghana,
Well,
the inflation and the cost of living has risen so much and so fast. Even things like gas go up 40-50% in a matter of 2-3 months. The CD inflation, the CD went from I think 6.7 to 7.9, 8.0 in a matter of a year. The inflation is really hurting Ghanaians right now. There's protests going on in the city.
It's everywhere. To be honest, we are just living in a very challenging, trying time right now, but you know, we have to prioritize certain things. So back to what I was saying is on us. That's why if I come across, you know, brothers and sisters that are actually doing something to bring the change we all want, now what can we do apart from saying well done to them? We need to do our part by supporting them. And the good thing with, you know, with some of the guests, you can actually track everything they are doing. So it's not just like, oh, you know, I donated, but I don't know, you know, what they're doing with, you know, that donation. Is not like that. So I'm going to encourage all of you guys watching right now, or those that watch this later,
And the goal
share.
is not to have donation go from hand to mouth.
That's
It's
it.
really,
That is
yeah, to
very
put in
important.
places that long-term development.
Exactly, exactly. So they, you know, people can live the life, you know, we know every human being deserve, you know, uh, but you have to train them. You have to show them what you do instead of giving them just food to eat or drinks, and then, you know, end of the month or few weeks again they will come back. But if
The
you
next day.
actually train them, you know, to do certain things, learn different skills, they can look after themselves and look after their families. So that I believe more in that than handing, you know, out food and, you know, clothing and all that. There is time for those
You know,
things.
one of the things that I skipped over in the duties of tourism chief, there's also marketing and branding, because
Branding.
it's not even a point where you have all these skilled people in a village, in a town, but then
Mm,
there's no, they're in a town that's poor, a village that's poor, and then they got to leave, and you know, sometimes they bring the money back and sometimes they don't, you know. So it's an all around effort in so many different moving parts, you
mm,
know, that I would even say people get to choose where they can really invest in health. Because I tell the village and I tell the town all the time, you know,
mm,
eventually we need a Wikipedia page. We need signboards. We need highway signboards that people know when they're entering a town, where they're at, where they're leaving. Because the more people know about your town, more about your place, that's what more
mm,
people come visit. That's what people do their research and need to find out, you know, where it can't just be from a American point of view or UK person point of view or anybody in Europe, somewhere in
mm,
Africa.
mm,
Because then that's when stereotypes start coming in, you know, bushes and trees and the middle of
mm,
nowhere. No, we need to know that this is a real place where I can really go, you
mhm,
know, that I can really go and go safely. Ghana, for example, is has been listed the second safest country in all of Africa behind Botswana. You
mm,
know, that it's not okay. He's in the middle of nowhere. I'm going to the middle of nowhere. I'm sending my money to the middle of nowhere. No, these are places that you can actually go safely and see
mm,
what's going on. And I think that's ultimately something that we're looking to build in the future, where a lot of people kind of, I've watched people, you meet a lot of people. I've watched
mm,
people who strategically do projects in the middle of nowhere, knowing that ain't nobody really going to follow up with them, and they do susus and all other kinds of things. You know,
mm.
so man, let me be quiet. Yeah. So, you know, it's about transparency. With transparency comes criticism, but at the same time, you know, it's a lot of karmic, good karma energy, you know, and morals that and real blessings are going to come from it.
Awesome. So, guys, you heard all the community give back. That's how I will put it, because that's what I wanted to ask Rashad, but he nicely covered all those things. So, if you like to support the project with the youth, yeah, the scholarship program, you can also, you know, get in touch with him directly and you know, take it from there. But together we can change things around quickly, very, very quickly. And that's where we are now, you know, as people. So, Rashad, I know you're about, you know, offering great trips for diasporans or anyone that
Yeah,
would
yeah,
love
yeah.
to visit Africa. So, my last question will be, Do you have any upcoming tours? If yes, I would love you to share the data as well so people can know of those tours.
Yeah. This trip is already closed, but we have Egypt August 7th to August 13th. I mean, I guess if somebody called me today and said, I want to go. Egypt August 7th to August 13th, 2022. Then I have a nice, well-needed break. Christmas, December 24th, December 2nd in Ghana. March 15th to March 26th is our three-country, 2023 is our three-country East African tour. We do Kenya, Rwanda, and Uganda. I have 3 trips to Ghana next year, April, July, December. Trip to Nigeria, Independence Day, October 2023. And we're opening up some other trips. So every year I do an Egypt trip in August based around the Lionsgate portal. That's a spiritual portal where the Earth, the Sun, and Sirius, the largest star in our solar system, are all in perfect alignment over the Giza pyramids. That trip is August 7th to August 13th every year. I'm doing a Ghana trip every April, July, December. I'll be doing Nigeria every October for their Independence Day. And I'll be doing an East African tour, Kenya, Rwanda, Uganda every March. Let's just do it that way. All the information you can find on Africa Cross Culture. AfricaCrossCulture.com.
Great, great. Any last word for diasporans?
Be strong, stay blessed. One of my favorite quotes: if you're ever afraid to do something, just do it scared. One of my other favorite quotes: some people dream of great accomplishments, others stay awake and accomplish them. Let's be a collective body, mind, body, and spirit, and just think great and be great. And, you know, try our best to live in love and unity and be on the same team, you know. I hope everybody stay blessed, and, you know, let's reach out to me. Yeah. And continue to support the Diaspora channel. I love what this lady's doing. Sometimes people are friends with the algorithm, and the algorithm just, you know, push anybody, you know. Some of the best gems, some of the best channels don't have 1 million views. I don't have 1 million views. You know what I mean? I know I give good information. She's bringing on good guests, and she's taking out her time to, you know, put some really great things together. So I want people to continue to support the Diaspora channel. Hit that share button for her. Hit that like button for her. You know, do whatever you can to help push her, her ambition to her goals, because, you know, she's doing this for other people. She's bringing me on her platform, you know, allowing me to speak.
Thanks so much. So voilà, pratiquement, on est à la fin maintenant du live de ce soir, et le frère Rashad, comme je l'ai dit, une fois arrivé au Ghana, il s'est fait adopter dans dans une famille ghanéenne où il participait à toutes les activités, les événements du village, suite à toutes ses contributions envers cette communauté en tant qu'entrepreneur aussi dans le tourisme, où il a amené plus de 300 personnes en Afrique. Il a partagé aussi les différents projets qu'il a en ce moment pour aider la communauté. Donc, c'est juste pour partager les points clés de ce dont on a discuté ce soir. Donc, il a mis en place un système aussi qui permettra de former les jeunes, comme système de bourse qui permettra aussi de former les jeunes filles et garçons dans différents secteurs, en fait. Donc, là, ce qui est très important, c'est que nous devrons travailler ensemble, en partenariat avec les frères et sœurs. Voilà. Donc, où que vous soyez, si vous voulez aussi l'aider avec ce qu'il est en train de faire actuellement maintenant dans la région centrale du Ghana, là, vous pouvez simplement le contacter directement, et après, je vais mettre aussi le lien de son site et sa chaîne YouTube. Comme ça, ça vous permettra aussi d'en savoir plus sur d'autres choses, d'autres projets qu'il a en ce moment. Comme je l'ai mentionné au départ, maintenant, il est chef du tourisme. Donc, là, s'il a déjà amené plus de 300 personnes sur le continent, je crois qu'il est la bonne personne, la personne qu'il faut pour cette position. Donc, je le remercie tout d'abord d'avoir partagé tout ça avec nous ce soir. Et si on veut vraiment que les choses changent sur le continent, c'est à nous d'essayer de faire tout ce qu'on peut faire pour soutenir les causes comme celle-ci, comme ce que notre frère est en train de faire pour la communauté, dans la communauté de Elmina and Etri, right? C'est ça,
Yeah.
That's it, right? So,
Yeah,
guys,
that's all I had. Elmina and Etri. Yeah.
donc, s'il vous plaît, mes frères et sœurs, aider notre frère avec les différents projets qu'il a en ce moment pour aider cette communauté. Donc, là, on est vraiment dernière minute pour finir ce soir. Donc, grand merci de nous avoir suivis ce soir. Si c'est votre première fois, n'oubliez pas de vous abonner, activer votre cloche afin de ne pas rater mes nouvelles vidéos. So, I will see you guys all in the next live, yes, same time next week. And for all of you guys that always support this platform, I truly appreciate all of you. Kindly share this video with family and friends so they can also be inspired and see as well what they can do to support the work Rashad is doing in Ghana. And I thank you all for tuning in tonight. Kindly, on your way out, don't forget to give this stream a thumbs up. That always helps with the YouTube algorithm. And I'm sure you want more people to know about this channel. So kindly thumbs up the live and share with family and friends. And subscribe as well. If today is your first time here, kindly subscribe and make sure your notification bell is on. And I will see you all very soon. If you are not following me on Instagram, if you are not following my page on Instagram, please follow me as well, because you can also send me a message right there and I will be able to help you, through different things. If you want to, your business to be featured here as well, we can plan that as well. Or if you like to actually join the French or airway classes, you can also send me a message right there and then we'll sort that out. Rashad is trying to come back, but for some reason, the device is not connected. So he's struggling right now. So we're going to maybe give him one more minute and see if he will be able to come back. So yeah, let me just give him a few seconds and I will have to run up the live. So guys, thanks everyone for tuning in tonight, and I will see you all next week, and take care of yourself.